morning, everybody. Thank you, everyone who showed up virtually and in person. Thank you, thank you. Today, we will be discussing about how to develop a mission statement. And today, I'm here with my group.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Asia. I am currently working on my bachelor's degree here at IRSC, and I graduated with my associates last year. I am a member of the Interfaith Club. Well, I'm the president of the Interfaith Club and also a member of the Helping Hands Committee and Community. And right now I'm working with this awesome team with the Legacy Leaders. And we're going to present to you on how to develop a mission statement.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Pedro Sanchez. I'm currently working on my AA degree. I'm going to finish my AA degree in the summer, and I'm going to complete my bachelor's of biology here at IRSC. Then afterwards, I will be serving in the Air Force. So kudos to that. And I'm also involved in the Legacy Leaders program, as I do this. I'm also involved with Helping Hands, the NSLS, and with Phi Theta Kappa. All incredible organizations to be part of. So if you have the chance to do any of them, highly recommend.
And I'm Ariana Smith. I am the CCD treasurer here at IRAC. I'm also the chair of Student Life Committee, and I'm also part of Helping Hands, like we all are, and the Legacy Leaders, obviously. And this is just one of the requirements that we have to fulfill to finish Legacy Leaders. So without further ado, let's keep going. I will pass the platform to Isaiah to discuss about what is a personal mission statement.
Thank you, Ariana. So we call it me, myself, and my oath because within the definition of what a mission statement is, you have an oath. So your mission statement or your personal mission statement is an oath you make to yourself so that you can follow through with the things you need to do in order to live the kind of life you want to live now, or the kind of life you've always dreamt of having. Why is it important to have a mission statement to accomplish these things? I mean, life is going to play out anyway, but the reason why it's encouraged to have a mission statement is because you need a navigational tool. You need something that will constantly remind you of what you want to accomplish in life. So a mission statement is like a drive for you. It gets you through times that are going to be your lowest times. So it's a reminder for you to pick yourself back up and say, well, this is what I want for myself in life. And I want to see myself through with it. So that's why it's important to come up with a mission statement. With that being said, I am going to get the platform back to Pedro so that we can go more into the discussion.
So to develop a mission statement, you can do more, but there's 6 fundamental things that you should do to create your mission statement and impact mission statement. The first thing you want to do is identify your strengths and weaknesses. What are you good at? What are some things that when they're given to you to do, like a task at work or an assignment, you're like, okay, bam, I got this. This is easy. This is nothing. But what are your weaknesses? What are some things that when they fall upon you to do, you're just like, hey, I'm not too great at it. I'm going to need a little more effort. Second thing you want to identify is what values are most important to you. What are some things that are so important in your life that if it's not going well, you need to stop your other commitments and need to focus on that. That helps with the mission statement and truly identify what is what and why it is. The third thing is what motivates you. What picks you out of bed in the morning when that alarm goes off? What is it that you tell yourself that you're like, oh man, I really want to get out of bed today? What is that comeback that says, no, you need to get out of bed for this reason. You need to do this. You need to do it and you need to go now. The fourth is, what are you ambitious about? What is something that you're determined to do at all costs? Basically, what is your end goal? It could be your career. It could be an organization you're working with. What is something that it has to happen, right? And the fifth thing is, what's your passion? What is that thing that you just love doing? on everything. It never gets dull, you never get bored of it, and you just love doing it. It always fills you up with joy and happiness and so much love when doing it, right? And the last is, in my opinion, one of the most fundamental is, can you commit to pursuing it when it's going bad? Because life, you're just gonna fall. That's just how it is. Like, think of it as being an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs fail probably 1,000 times before they get it right?
Correct.
But you need to have that go that says, all right, I just fell. I gotta get up and keep going. It was like, I believe it was Thomas Edison, when he finally finished the light bulb. And someone told him, you failed 1,000 times. Well, no, I found 1,000 ways to not do it. And then it finally clicked. So that being said, I'm gonna pass it over back to my teammates and we're gonna dive further.
So we have a little activity here for you guys. And if you look around the room, you would see different shapes. And for those that are joining us virtually, we have all the 4 shapes on the slide here. We have a circle, a square, a triangle, and a squiggle. So what we'd like you to do is we'll give you 60 seconds to look at each shape and choose the one that you feel most drawn to, the one that you have the most connection with, and then type it in the chat here in Zoom. And for those attending physically, you just have to go stand next to the shapes that you feel the closest to. So we're starting now. Thank you. All right, everyone, thank you so much for participating in this activity. So we saw very beautiful responses from the group chat as well. And we just want to tell you that this was a little personality identifying test. The shape you're drawn the closest to isn't 100% who your personality is, but it's also is a part of you. So we're just going to tell you what each shape signifies. For the circle personality, a circle is a communicator, a storyteller, and a compassionate and empathetic harmonizer. You love to have fun and laugh at work, but maybe you talk too much. That's me. As you can tell, she put you have conflict and you hate conflict and confrontation. You have trouble saying no and setting boundaries. Sometimes you take things too personally and you turn to go silent when you're feeling hurt or angry. I sometimes cry. The circle wants to fix everyone else. We even feel guilty and responsible for others. You do your best to work on teams, and you're the peacekeeper. You can't we all just get along? I always say that all the time to my family. And your focus is that the whole element of the project. So me personally, just enjoy working in groups. I am going to pass it up to some of the other projects. All right, Pedro.
So, thank you. So if you identify with a square, what you are, according to this personality project, is you're very oriented. You're very by the book. You're someone, you don't like surprises, and you love procedure, and you're into structure, and you're someone who likes to make sure that if it's not in the book, we're not really doing it because we didn't have it planned. So you like following through with the plans, and you're not too confident when it comes to change. You're someone who likes to stick with it once you've learned it a certain way. And you're that strong motivation that even if it takes all night, we need to get it right. If we need to be up for 24 hours doing it, then that's what we're going to do. You're sort of that strong motivator. And you're all about the how whenever it comes to a project. You're the, okay, how are we going to do it? What steps are we going to take? And for Squiggles, if you identified with it, you're the creative, you're the original, you're the one that needs that communication. You know, you want to make sure that you're always presenting your ideas to others as well as you can do it. And you're always making sure that you can get it back from others, that you're receiving the whole pie whenever you're speaking with people. When it comes to projects, you are the why element. Basically, why are we really doing this? Why is it so important? Why do we need to go above and beyond this? You get bored easily, but unlike the square, you adapt easily to change. So that's something that can rub off on people who identify with the square, is you can kind of help them adjust to that change, if that makes sense. And that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Ariana.
All right, and then last but certainly not least, we have the triangle. So the triangle, basically, you're confident, focused, outspoken, and used to being successful. You love being in charge and in control. You're a self-motivated and multitasker who likes setting goals, but also likes making all the decisions. You love debating and arguing, but you hate to lose, rarely think to apologize. You can be sarcastic and impatient at times with a get it done attitude. Now, your whole focus within a project is like now. We need to get it done now and ASAP. And I see we got one triangle, and I feel for you because I feel like I'm a triangle too, not gonna lie. But that's all. Now, what we just described here for the personality types, the personality types. Yeah, gang. The personality types, this isn't restricted to just this is who you are. You could be drawn to multiple shapes here, and they could all have like characteristics that you share in yourself. So if you feel drawn to more, you see, hey, I could be a circle and a triangle, you know, then that's perfectly fine. This just gives you a broad perspective of this is just an outlook, you know, just a little snippet of who you are to help find your oath. All right. Yeah. Now I'll go on to what's important to you. Okay. So when you're trying to do your mission statement, you have to analyze yourself. The first question we have up here is, what makes you generally happy? Now, when you look back, what really does make you happy? You know, for example, what makes me happy is sports, working out, helping others. And I found that once I analyzed myself and what I truly love to do, I wanted to go into physical therapist route. So I want to, you know, my doctorate. I want to help people who are injured. And I also love, you know, being multitasking and also helping the sports, like sports exercise. So that's what really helped me find my passion. Also, to follow that question is, what do you value? And what I mean by this is, what did you value in that time you're happy? It could be, for example, helping others. Well, I value that I put a smile on their face and that I actually help them to their journey. And that's what you value. You value helping others, and that helps you go into what's important to you. The next question that we have up is, what are your greatest achievements? Now, when I was doing the personal mission statement, I listed 5, and I realized that all 5 had a similar thing to them, and it was helping out humanity, helping out everyone I can possible. And I think if you list 3 greatest achievements of yours and you look at them and you try to find a similarity in them and you try to incorporate that into your mission statement, it kind of gives you like, hey, basically, reminding you, hey, this is why you're doing it. This is your whole drive, your motivation, like Pedro has been saying. So that kind of goes into what's important again. Number 4 is such a simple question, yet it's it's very like eye-opening. Who is or are your role models or role models, right? What do you love their characteristics of? For example, for me, I'm always going to say an example, by the way, so that you guys know. But for example, my role models is my godfather and my mother. My godfather is always family oriented. He's very loyal, hardworking, determined, and I love those characteristics of him. So I would like to incorporate that into my everyday, style, into my everyday life. Like, this is what I have to do in order to like do that. That's what I look up to him for. Now, my mother is very caring. She will give you the shirt on her back. Like, she will do anything for you. And I absolutely admire that, and just humble. And yeah, that's also saying what's important to you, finding out who you are, also being influenced by others that you look up to, and really, diagnosing like, okay, why am I really influenced by them? And then the last question that we have up is, what do you repeatedly do daily? Now, this question is probably like, oh, I just get up, I go to school, I go on my phone, TikTok, Instagram, whatever you guys do. I don't know what you guys do, but right there, you listed one, and that's school. School is a priority of yours, and that's what you do repeatedly. Or if you do homework, that's what's important to you is education. You may think education is key, and that's what gets you through the day. There's little things, little decisions that we do that help us get closer to what is important to us, basically answering what is important to us. So now I will pass it on to Isiah to discuss more about it.
So to pick up from where Ariana left off, what is important to you leads us to the next question. Where do you want to go? And it's not like, where do you want to go in your car after you leave the session, or where do you want to go, whether you want to go to Publix? It's, where is your life heading? Where do you want to go in general? What kind of life do you want to live? Because to have a strong mission statement, you really need to have some sense of direction. You need to envision yourself heading somewhere, at least somewhere positive. You want to lead a life that can benefit you and also benefit those around you. Well, it's a bit of a reflection question. You have to think. For me, when I was younger, I always wanted my life to head in the direction where my parents would be proud of me. It was like my biggest path. Everything I do, I wanted to be heading to making my parents proud. And as I grew up, like eventually figured out the things that made my parents proud are also things that made me proud. Things that I saw in other people, directions that they were heading, that I thought that, wow, this person has made it far in life. What does far in life really mean? It's success is different for everyone. Everybody always says that because that's like the truth in it. So how far you want to go in life will really be determined by what principles or what foundation you set, which is why it's important to think about this while you try to craft your mission statement. And questions you have to ask yourself for a minute. What kind of life do you want to lead? That's a very important question, because if you can see that you don't want to be someone that lives without any purpose, just passively living, letting the days come by and just go, and you're not heading nowhere, what happens is you get pulled in so many different directions. Because there's so many right now with Instagram and Facebook, there's so many influencers out there trying to pull you in their direction. You end up just losing yourself into following almost everyone. So role model, as Ariana mentioned, you need to find that person that has qualities that you admire. I find role models, and it's always the same quality in almost every one of my role models. Sometimes it's in a movie, like one of my role models, Supergirl. I know it's weird. It's a bit different, but she has this one thing that she always stands for, and I think it's the mission that they put in this character for the movie. So it's like maybe they wrote a mission statement that this character would always stand for this, which is the importance of human life. So even if it's a villain, she would do her best just to make sure that that person stays alive. So it's a quality that I feel like I want to be a part of me. That's where I want to be heading with my life. So when I think about my mission statement, I reflect on all these things. And the last question is it a life that's beneficial to you and those around you? The reason why it's important to think about how your life benefits others is because there is a purpose, there's a reason for you being here. Everybody, every religion, every culture has a different way of explaining why we're on earth. But everybody agrees that we're not just here for no reason. And nobody wants to die leaving zero legacy behind. You want, even if you don't know it yet, at some point in your life, you would want to be important, you would want to feel useful, and you want your life to mean something to others other than yourself. So I want to take a minute to give you a minute to just reflect and write down where you want to go with your life. Because at the end of the day, our goal here is to help you walk away with your own personal mission statement. So we're going to give a minute before we move on. Okay, thank you very much for participating in this exercise. Now I'm going to give the floor over to Ariana to continue with our presentation.
Thank you. So now what you guys just wrote down of where do you want to be? Now you're going to go and take it a step further and list the a couple of goals that you would like to achieve in 5 years. And these are going to be your long-term goals, okay? So once you've done that, I would like you guys to break it down now. What are the short-term goals you would like to do in order to achieve the 5-year goals? Now, as you guys are writing this right now, this is basically a commitment to yourself, saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. Just think of the paper as your brain. You're permanently writing it and you're going to achieve it. Basically, you're putting yourself accountable. So I'll leave you guys 1 minute of doing that, and then we'll continue with the presentation. Thank you. All right, so now I'm going to pass the platform to Isia to discuss what does the best me look like.
Thank you very much, Ariana. So here we go again with another reflective question. And what does the best look like for you? Or what does the best you look like? Now in psychology, there's a thing called the hierarchy of needs. And this is what you're looking at the pyramid here on the screen. So the hierarchy of needs basically is telling us how our needs evolve as we accomplish them. So our basic needs are food, water, warmth. Am I full? Am I not starving? Am I not dying of thirst? Do I have warmth, or am I not freezing in the cold? Did I get enough rest to be able to move on to the next day? Those are our basic needs. And after we have those, okay, I'm not hungry. Now we're worried about security. Do I have a roof over my head? Am I gonna get harmed walking in the street? Is it safe? Is my neighborhood safe? And after you have assured yourself with that, you start to think about other psychological needs like family, friends, people that you need around you. If you have that really rough day, is someone you can talk to, or it can be anyone. It can be your mom, it can be your intimate partner, but we just feel that need of belonging and the need for love. And another psychological need that we have after we've accomplished that is esteem needs. So we're worried about our prestige, our feeling of accomplishment. That's why you feel the urge to pass that exam, graduate that high school, earn that diploma, get that certificate. You want to be accomplished in something. You want to participate in something that would make you feel like, okay, you're being useful. And after you have accomplished the things that you want in terms of esteem needs that make you feel like you're useful, we get to the highest level, which is self-actualization. And self-actualization is at the highest of the hierarchy of needs because eventually we want to become the best version of ourselves. We want to evolve. We want to be better than yesterday. We don't want to be stuck, right? And always in the morning, I ask myself, what can I do differently so that today is better? It's a question that sometimes we don't have the answer to, but that's what we want. We want our previous versions, and the best in this case is not best as compared to others. It's best compared to yourself, how you were before. And I remember when I graduated high school, it was, in my country, it's very tough for girls to get to that point, even to get to high school, let alone graduate. I was so happy. That's all I wanted in my life, was to graduate high school. And after I graduated high school, I started to think about college. How dare I? How many girls even graduate high school? Why am I thinking about college? But it's something in us. We want more after we accomplish one thing. And then I got to college, but I was in my country, and I know we didn't have the best education system. So I wanted a better college because I wanted to be better. So I searched for scholarship opportunities. I went to a country where I didn't even know their language, but I was trying to get to my goal, which is to accomplish the best version of myself. So if that meant going across the continent where I don't have any family or know no one at the age of 16, I was about to take that risk. And that's where it comes from. Sometimes trying to get to the best version of ourselves does require us to take risks. We have to take that leap of faith and say, okay, if I just stay in my comfort zone, I'm not gonna go anywhere. I'm not gonna accomplish, I'm not gonna get to see life in full. So sometimes you just have to take the risk. I risked it. And I went there and found out that, okay, this is good. It's better than what I had before, but it's not the best I can do. So I tried harder and I got to the States, because everywhere you go in the world, they talk about how education is great in the United States. So everybody wants to come here for education. And I made it here. And initially when I came here, my goal was to just go to school, get a diploma, get a good job, and sustain my family. But here I am, making a leadership presentation. Why am I involved with leadership? All because I'm trying to better myself. So we always have to think about what the best looks like for us, because every day our goal in life should be trying to get better. And I know perfection is such an overrated thing that everybody's trying to get. We're not going to be perfect, but we're always going to try to be better than we were before. With that being said, I am going to get the floor over to Pedro to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Asia. Now, I want to continue on with what she said was pushing yourself to be better than you were yesterday, right? What happens when you get to a point where it's like, I'm in my A game right now. I'm killing it. I am doing everything and I'm executing it 1000%. Those people around you, they're going to notice that, and it's going to happen naturally. They're going to notice that, and it's going to rub off on that. They're going to subconsciously tell themselves, or they consciously tell themselves, okay, this guy's doing 1,000. We need to pick up the pace. I need to move. I need to go better. I need to go harder with what I'm doing. And how that ties into reputation is that people, whenever they describe you, they're going to tell you, and they're going to describe you as someone who's what I like to call a hard hitter, someone who dives into everything they do, right? You might do 3 things and you might knock them out perfectly, execute them perfectly. And people are going to love that, right? And that's what you want. You want people to recognize you as someone who dives into things. And these people, they're also important to you because when you're not on your A game, or you stray off your path a little bit and you don't dive into things as much as you normally do, they're going to pull you aside. They're going to say, hey, look, you're not, I don't know what's going on with you, but you're not here. You're not 100%. And these impact your reputation, because you build yourself up, and it's a long staircase to have people recognize you and describe you as someone who dives into things 100%. And it's very quickly drained whenever you stray off. People start to say, he was on his A game, but now he's not. Or she was going incredible, but now she's not. And it impacts the type of legacy we leave on others and our life legacy whenever our time comes to leave. So I want to break into an activity, and I want everyone to close your eyes and imagine that you're sitting down with an 85-year-old version of yourself. And what I want you to do whenever you're sitting down with that 85-year-old version of yourself, take a good look at that. Ask yourself, is this someone that I'm proud of? Is this someone that went out and did things that they wanted to do? Did I follow through with what I said I was going to do? Did I pour myself into what I wanted to do? Okay. And if that's not someone I'm proud of, what do I need to do to change that? What are some things that I can do better? So I'm going to give you guys a minute. Actually, let's get 2 minutes to really think about that. Okay, everyone, a minute has passed. Hopefully you got some nice reflective pieces and you've done some deep thinking on it. And if you haven't, it's okay. Just put more time into that if you need. Now, daily goals and tasks. I want to challenge you guys to come up with 5 daily goals or tasks that push you to what you want to do. The goal of these 5 daily tasks is to break the norm, break yourself out of your schedule and re-motivate you and remind you why you're doing the things you want to do, what impact you want to leave behind. There's going to be one task that needs to be more important than the others. I'm not saying the other 4 aren't important, but that one task should be something that gets done, something that really challenges your mentalness and yourself emotionally. Something that when you complete it, you're like, okay, yeah, this is it. This is one. Now, on to the next slide.
Okay, so now that we went over how to develop a mission statement, please just take the time to think about what is your mission statement? What is your blank, your name, mission statement? Okay, and we'll give you like a minute or so, and then we'll give you an example. Okay, so a minute has passed.
And if you would like to share your mission statement with us, we'll just encourage you to tell us or type it in the chat box. And while we're at that, we're each going to share our mission statement with you. So you can just drop it in the chat box here. And let's go to ours.
My mission statement stemmed from being able to help others with anything that I can, even if it's the tiny things, like your hands are full and you're trying to get past the doorway. I'm going to go out of my way and open that door for you, right? And the second part is to always be positive, sympathetic, and understanding towards others. Because even when others have off days, there may be something very impactful that's going on in their life that's really determined towards them. And that ties to how I can help. Like if you're going through something really bad and you need someone to talk to, I aim to at least try to be a shoulder to cry, so to speak, someone who you can vent to, someone you can spill your guts out to. Now, I know that's a hard thing to do, given I understand the need to keep things private, but I at least like to offer that. So I incorporated that into my mission statement.
And for me, first I'm going to read my mission statement out to you and tell you where I got my inspiration from to come up with this mission for myself. So my mission in life is to always fight for what I believe in, to always have the courage and integrity to be truthful to myself and leave places better than it was when I first got there. So before this presentation, it was a blur for me what my actual mission statement was. I never really thought about making a mission statement. I always knew what it was about, but I didn't really think about coming up with one until I started making this presentation and got inspired when I followed through with the steps. And then I talked to my friend and told her that my mission was to empower women. And she said, well, you fight for everything you believe in. It's not just that one topic. So I was like, yeah, you're right. And I came up with that.
And then mine is basically, I'm just gonna say it. I will live a prosperous life full of happiness, health, and gratitude while giving back to humanity. I will be consistently hardworking, generous, open-minded, and adventurous toward any opportunity or experience provided to me. I just thought that I wanted to incorporate everything that I really do value and that is important, just like all three of us have done.
thank you, everyone. I'm gonna check the chat and see if somebody dropped a comment about their mission statement. All right, so we have Stephanie James. Is it Stephanie or Stephanie?
Stephanie.
Stephanie. So her mission statement is to be the best leader that she can be and to accomplish goals that will improve her future. How beautiful is that?
That's awesome.
Stephanie, your comment made us feel accomplished today. And thank you so much, everyone who participated and joined us into this amazing, powerful, insightful presentation.
Hey, and if you guys want to do this presentation, don't forget you can join Legacy Leaders. You got to finish Emerging Leaders first, but then you do Legacy Leaders. And as you can see, all three of us really do love the experience. So we highly encourage you guys to take initiative and be a part of this amazing experience.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate it.
Everyone.
Thank you. Mhm.
Thank you all for joining us today. And if you are trying to finish Emerging Leaders, the deadline is Monday, April 5th. So please make sure that you turned in your community service hours and reported any experience. We do have several workshops that were recorded this week. We have the Slice of Knowledge, which is credit for River Life 411 and Maximize Your College Experience. There's a short little questionnaire at the end. So if you are missing either one of those, you could attend Slice of Knowledge. If you look in River Life, all of those opportunities are there. There's also lots of virtual options that didn't necessarily have to be done on the day that they were given. So please go through. And if you have any questions about how you can complete Emerging Leaders, please email studentengagement@irsc.edu. And again, if you do not complete Emerging Leaders this academic year, you will have to start all over in the program in the fall. So if you have any questions, please email us, and thank you for participating. Have a great weekend.